Good evening. Why are you the most effective advocate for Bayfront business expansion? What specific measures will you take to advance Chula Vista Bayfront commercial and industrial jobs development?
Okay, we're going to start off with this end, and again, we're going to go as quick as possible. And some of this was answered before, but we're going to Mr. Rinden.
Well, this is a community issue that's very supportive and needs to be done. And you know, as your mayor, let me tell you what the difference is. It's building those relationships and working with the port on a daily basis. This is not something that's just going to happen because you wish it's going to happen. We've been looking for 40 years to get that done. And so with the port, the lead agency for the Bayfront, you do it on a daily basis until you get a partnership and a commitment, and you work through that because it's very tenacious, and that's what I'm known for in building partnerships and being tenacious and getting things done. We have to get that moving forward so this community will have access.
Ms. Salas?
The city of Chula Vista controls very little of the Bayfront. Most of the property is controlled by the Port of San Diego. What we need to make sure of, and I think that we've been successful in the past, is making sure that we appoint very, very strong port commissioners, as we had in Steve Padilla when he was our port commissioner, and then followed by Ann Moore that is got so much knowledge relative to planning and development. So we have to work in conjunction with our port commission and market what we can in Chula Vista, but certainly support what they're doing on their part of the property.
Ms. Agler?
We need to support both businesses, commercial development, as well as residential. What we need on our Bayfront is balanced development, not just hotels for tourists. We also need the Marine Group Boatworks that provides good jobs for people who work on ships.
Schmidt?
Very simple. We need to get the hell out of the way. Last time we had a great developer, and we insisted, the city insisted on the union controlling everything. And that just nixed the whole deal. And now we're back to square one. We need to get out of the way, let the market forces take effect. Let's get this job done.
Mr. Padilla?
I think I'd be the best advocate because I have the best experience. Because the current Bayfront plan was one that was advanced on my watch as mayor, and that I was very pleased to lead a broad community coalition. I was proud to lead the coalition that led to this Bayfront plan being adopted in the first place. And so I understand it very well as a mayor, as a port commissioner, as a coastal commissioner that worked with this community to make it happen. I think we need to support our local port tenants, our local businesses, and keep those jobs, as well as making sure that the plan gets implemented. And I just want to respond to one thing, if I could, that Mr. Smith said. And this is something.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just going to ask that you refrain from doing that, because the time frame that we have in order to have closing statements and accommodate 5 or 6 of these individuals here.
Okay, I've noticed that you've allowed people, when the card is up, to go over by substantial amounts of time, and I've been pretty good about keeping the time.
And I respect that, but you also notice that your competitor's not here. And so you've had an advantage this evening, and not being disrespectful, but in order to accommodate all the audience questions.
Yes, and why isn't he here? Where is he?
Have you been supported or endorsed by the unions or the environmentalists that killed the previous Gaylord development?
I'm sorry, sir, are you addressing that to everyone here?
To everybody. I want to know if they are being endorsed by the unions.
For all of you, have you been supported by union or environmentalists?
Yeah, well, he's actually helping me answer the question I want to answer. First of all, yes, I'm proud to have the support of the San Diego County Imperial Labor Council and all of our public safety organizations, police, fire, deputy sheriffs. But I'm the only candidate in my race who also has the support of the Chula Vista Chamber of Commerce and the business community and numerous business and conservative trade organizations. And they've all endorsed me, conservative and liberal, union and non-union. I want to make sure that something is made very clear here, and that's been said twice and is absolutely not true. The reason that Gaylord left the city of Chula Vista as a potential investor in our Bayfront had nothing to do with the unions. When I left office as mayor of this city, the agreement to work together between those groups and Gaylord was done. The reason they left is because when I left office, there was an utter and complete failure of leadership in this city to even engage with those parties to make sure they stayed here. And when this leadership left the building, so did Gaylord.
Well, I've forgotten what the question was.
Well, I don't even believe you were.
No,
all due respect, you were not involved
The
in this
special
process.
interest that I represent, that has backed me, are the residents of Chula Vista. That's it.
Okay.
That's who I am for. That's who I am supported by.
Just a point of reference, we had voting members that may have been a part of this process at that time, and certainly Mr. Smith was not there. Ms. Aguilar?
So the question seems to imply, like labeling. You have to be with this group or that group or the other group. And I guess I really just don't believe in labels. I think we need to find a balanced approach toward development of the Bayfront that gets away from all these partisan and labeling issues.
Ms. Salas?
Yes, and another reason that Gaylord left too, I know that a lot of people like to blame the unions, that it was the big bad unions that forced them to go, or we wouldn't do business with them in an expeditious way. But another part of it was the absolute collapse of the economy and the inability to get financing for those kinds of projects. So that's the reality of it. The other part is, yes, I am very proud to be supported by the San Diego Imperial and Labor Council. I'm very proud. But you have to look at my voting record, not only on the City Council in Chula Vista, where I would venture to say that Jerry and I had very few differences in our votes back when we both served together, but my work in the Assembly as well. And so...
Okay, Ms. Salas, I apologize. I hate having this role, but we need to
yes,
continue on. We have
I
several
proudly
speakers.
carry those endorsements.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rendon.
I'm happy to represent 100% of the members of the community, not just the 17% that's represented by the labor unions.
In November of 2012, the voters of Chula Vista passed Proposition B, which created the Districting Commission to create a plan to form districts to elect members to the City Council, as opposed to the current at-large system. As the chairperson of that newly formed commission, my question is twofold. What was your position with regard to Proposition B? And as the commission works to create this plan, will you be supporting that plan if elected to either as a mayor or the City Council?
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go with Mr. Rendon.
There are advantages and disadvantages when you have district elections. You only get to vote for one of the 5 people on the council, not all 5 out of 5 when the various terms get up. So I think you're going to have to allow the voters to make that decision and recommendation, and you have to study those proposals, and they can be very convoluted, and so that's something that you just don't answer off the cuff, because you have to ensure that full representation is made and understood by the community.
Ms. Salas?
I can tell you very simply that I opposed the district elections, but we have to answer to the voters, and the voters voted by nearly 2/3 that they did want to see Chula Vista divided into districts. I've had a change of heart since coming to the City Council, because it's unrealistic to expect that we have this kumbaya and the City of Chula Vista is united. We're very separate and distinct communities now, and we shouldn't, that shouldn't be a negative. Think about all the different community identities in the city of San Diego, whether it be Kensington or Little Italy or you name the neighborhood.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Ms. Aguilar?
I supported putting district elections on the ballot, and once it got on the ballot, I supported having district elections. Chula Vista is a town of almost 250,000 people now, and it's time that we give our residents an opportunity to vote for people who represent their neighborhood.
Mr. Smith?
I think that that those of you that are in the political science class that Professor Sains has here, understanding that read about gerrymandering, and it's a problem. It's always a problem. It's a balancing act. I've got a problem with it, and I think that it invites corruption, and so I'm opposed to it.
Mr. Padilla?
I don't believe I took a public position in 2012. Privately, I think I had some concerns because there are pros and cons to it, frankly. And Chula Vista is not quite, in my view, large enough yet, population-wise. But having said that, the people have spoken loud and clear. It's the law of this city. We are having districts, and to answer the question, absolutely, I support it.